بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أحسن الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. In the last lesson we looked at the statement of Imam al-Tahawi rahimahullah ta'ala وَالْحَجُّ وَالْجِهَادِ مَاضِيَانِ مَعَ أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ بَرِّهِمْ وَفَاجِرِهِمْ إِلَى قِيَامِ السَّاعَةِ لَا يُبْطِلُهُمَا شَيْءٌ وَلَا يَنْقُضُهُمَا. The rough meaning of which is that performing Hajj and performing Jihad, these are two things which take place, which continue to take place with the rulers over the Muslims. And whether they are righteous or whether they are sinful. And this continues until the establishment of the hour. Nothing invalidates them. And nothing nullifies or invalidates them. So in the last lesson we looked at the comment of Shaykh Zayd al-Madkhali rahimahullah ta'ala. Today we want to complete the discussion of the sentence from Shaykh Saalih Aall Ash-shyakh. So the Shaykh says here that this issue here is an issue in which Ahlul Sunnah differ from the Khawarij and the Rafidah. This is a point that we mentioned previously, that in this issue Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah, they oppose the Rafidah and the Khawarij. And this is an issue to do with rulership and leadership. Al-Imara wal-Wilaya. This is rulership and leadership. And this is an issue in which there are certain affairs that affect the Muslims, things like obedience, things like the good deeds which take place in a society, at-ta'a wal-ma'roof, things like Hajj, things like Jihad, things like the Jum'ah, things like the Jama'ah, the Eid prayers. All of these are things that are done behind the rulers. They are done with the rulers. And these rulers, whether they are righteous, whether they are sinful, whether they are obedient to Allah, whether they are disobedient to Allah, all of this makes no difference. And likewise, whether these rulers they are kamil, they are complete in the rule, like the Khulafa. And the Khulafa, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali radiyallahu anhuma, their rulership has been described or has been praised by the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. It follows the Khilafatun Nubuwah. So whether the rulers are perfect like that, or whether they come after that, whether they are not perfect, whether they, for example, mix good deeds with evil deeds, all of this, it makes no difference. And the issue is still the same. They have to be obeyed in all of these affairs. In Hajj, in the Ma'roof, they have to be given obedience, ta'a, in the Jum'ah, Jama'ah, in all of these things, the rulers have to be obeyed and listened to. The Shaykh says that if we look at Hajj, for example, the Hajj is a great act of worship. We see there are huge amounts of people that come together. And we see nowadays there are millions upon millions of people that come together for Hajj. And this act of worship is something that has to be performed, organized, regulated, and there has to be an Amir. There has to be someone who oversees this act of worship. And if there wasn't someone to oversee this act of worship, there would be confusion. There would be chaos, there would be fawda, there would be confusion and chaos. And this is because if you leave the people have hawa. If you leave the people, then everyone will follow his own course and do his own thing, and there will just be chaos. In fact, even if you've been on Hajj, even if you've been on Umrah, you will see that even with all of the nizam and the organization, there's still chaos. So this is Hajj. And likewise Jihad. So these are things which affect the society. Hajj, Jihad, obedience to the ruler, ma'roof, obeying the ruler in which is good, commanding the good, al-amr bil ma'roof wa nahy al-munkar, the jum'ah, the jama'ah, the everything. All of these things are under the ruler. And likewise, the Shaykh mentions here jihad, when people face up to the enemy, and this again is done under rulership. It is behind the rulership. And so no matter whether the ruler is righteous, sinful, corrupt, rectifying, all of this, if he is sinful, it goes to himself. His sin is only upon himself. If he doesn't obey Allah, that's harm upon himself. If he commits sins, that's upon himself. His sin is for himself. But as for his wilaya, his siyasa, and all of these affairs, that is for the whole of the society. And for that reason, that's why we see that in Islam and in the Aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah, this is from the greatest of the principles that in fact Islam has come with. And that's why you see Shaykh al-Islam Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah ta'ala in his 6 principles. He mentions 6 mighty great principles which indicate the power and the might of Allah. What are these 6 principles? He mentions first of all ikhlas, which is tawheed, and then he mentioned unity, and then he mentions obedience to the rulers, because this is from the great and mighty affairs of this religion. It brings security and safety to the Muslim nation, even if the ruler is an evil, sinful ruler, even if he is sinful, disobedient, and even if he oppresses some of the people. This is what Islam has come with. So the Shaykh says that these affairs of worship and these affairs that the ruler that he is in charge of, that the Muslim has to obey the ruler. And this obedience, when we obey the ruler, this is from al-bir wa taqwa. It is ta'awun upon bir wa taqwa. This is how it is treated in the Sharia. We don't accept what is said by the Khawarij and these jama'at of Hizbiyya and Siyasa. They say that this you are making compromise. You are compromising with the ruler. You are making mujamala. You are flattering the ruler. This is batil. Rather, what we do, this is at-ta'awun. It is cooperation alal birri wa taqwa. This is how the Sharia has mentioned this. The Shaykh mentions the ayah, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. This is addressing all of the Muslims, all of the believers. And part and parcel of this is to cooperate with the rulers, to make ta'awun with the hukam, with the rulers, for the interest of the society, for the benefit of the society, to maintain order in the society. So this is just in general. Then there are some specific points, specific masail. The first mas'ala is that those people who oppose Ahl Sunnah, who oppose the way of the Salaf, there are a number of groups. First of them are the Rawafid, and then they are the Khawarij, and then they have the Shubuhat. As for the Rawafid, as for the Shia, the Rawafid, they do not believe that Hajj and Jihad takes place or is possible except with their Imam, their 12th Imam, this Imam that they are waiting for. As you know, the Rafidah, the Shia, they believe in the 12 Imams. They believe that the 12th Imam, and all of these Imams, they are from the offspring of Ali radiallahu anhu. They say that the 12th Imam, that he disappeared in a cave. And so long as he's absent, if he's not present, it means things like jihad and hajj and so on and so forth, that we can't perform these things. So therefore they do not obey any of the rulers of the Muslims. The Rawafid, they do not obey any of the rulers of the Muslims. They are waiting until their Imam, whom they refer to as Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Askari, this is what they claim, until he comes. And when he comes, he will lead the Shia, he will lead the Rafidah, and they will make Hajj, and they will perform jihad. And what they mean by performing Hajj and performing jihad is that they will come and they will fight and kill all of the Sunni Muslims. This is what they actually mean. And they will take over the land of Mecca and Medina. This is what they mean. So they're waiting for the Imam. When the Imam comes, they will kill and slaughter all of the Sunni Muslims and take over the lands. And this is written in their books. It's very clear and open in their books. This is what they actually intend. So jihad, Hajj is only with the Imam, the Al-Imam Al-Ma'soom, the infallible Imam according to the Rawafid. And as for the Khawarij, then the Khawarij, they say that Hajj, Jihad, Al-Amr bil-Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar, and all of these affairs which take place and affect the society, they say that it follows on from the Wilayah, from the rulership. And rulership is only for the righteous person. Is only for the righteous person. And the Imam must be Saalih. He must be righteous. He must be taqi. He must be pious. He must be kamil. He must be complete. And only then is he able to lead and rule and lead the Hajj and lead the Jihad and so on and so forth. This is what they believe. Now, if they see that there isn't a ruler, if there isn't a ruler who is like this, who is righteous, pious, complete, what they do is they break away from the Muslims, they split away from the Muslims, and they specify their own Amir. So now they set up their own Amir from themselves. This now is the Amir. And then with this Amir, they make Jihad, they make Hajj, and they don't remain with the Jama'ah. They separate completely, and all of these symbols, Jihad, Hajj, all these things, they do them with their Amir as the ruler. This is how they behave. And this is what they did in the time of Uthman radiallahu anhu, in the time of Ali radiallahu anhu, and likewise when they also fought against the Bani Umayyah, the first dynasty of the Muslims. They broke away from them and they used to do their own thing. They had their own Amir. This is the way of the Khawarij. And they believe that the only Muslims are them. They are the only Muslims. And whoever does not join them, they believe he's a mushrik, kafir, and this is what they believe. And that's why you see when you look at the very early groups of the Khawarij, the very early groups, you have a group called the Azariqa. The Azariqa. Their founder is a man called Nafi' bin Azraq. And this individual, he broke away from so you had the Khawarij, he broke away from the Khawarij. So you see the Khawarij, they split amongst each other. The Khawarij, they first break away and they bring their own Amir. They have their own Amir. Then between themselves, they have disputes about leadership, about wealth, about the land, about the mal, about the dar, about the imara. They start disputing and arguing. So what happened is from the Khawarij, this individual Nafi' bin Azraq, he split and he separated. And then he set up his own group. And this individual had so many evil doctrines. He went to Basra, and in Basra they began to kill the Muslims and kill their children because they considered everybody, the Muslims and their children, they considered them to be disbelievers. They also believed that if you are not living in their land, so even if you believe their belief, even if you believe in the Khariji Aqeedah, you believe that, but you are living in some other land and you do not make hijrah to them, you are a mushrik as well. You are a polytheist as well. And they believe that every land other than the land that they control is Darul Harb. So every land of the Muslims in which their armies are not to be found, so wherever their armies are not found, that land is a land of Darul Harb. Right, these are some of the ideas of Nafi' bin Azraq, and this is the Azariqa. And they would kill and slaughter the women and the children, and they used to believe in the ayah in Surah Nuh, when Nuh alayhi salam, when he made dua to Allah, he made dua against the kuffar, and not to leave any of the kuffar upon the earth. This is what they believe. They believe, they quote this ayah, and they say that this justifies their killing of men, women and children, because these people have to be wiped out. So from this you can see that the Khawarij, they oppose Islam, they oppose the Sunnah, they oppose the Jama'ah, and the evil is something you can see from what we've described of the Azariqah, that this is exactly what people like ISIS, the Daesh, Al-Nusra, this is exactly what the same doctrines these people are believing. They believe in exactly the same doctrines. If you're not from their armies, if you're not fighting with them, you are considered to be a kafir, and you are living in a land of Darul Harb, and it's permissible for them to fight and to kill you. So these are the Khawarij. So we have the Rafida and the Khawarij. They oppose the belief of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So as for what we find in the Sunnah, then irrespective of whether the ruler is righteous, sinful, pious, obedient, disobedient, all of that, it makes no difference at all. The condition is if the ruler commands something which is good. If the ruler commands what is ma'ruf, then we have to obey that ruler. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّمَا الطَّاعَ فِي الْمَعْرُوفِ إِنَّمَا الطَّاعَ فِي الْمَعْرُوفِ. So if the ruler commands what is ma'ruf, al-ma'ruf is whatever is not ma'siyah. Whatever is not sin is ma'ruf in the Sharia. So if the ruler commands anything which is ma'ruf, then we have to obey him, because it is nearness to Allah, it is taqarrub to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the first issue, first mas'ala. The first mas'ala is the mukhalifin, the Rawafid and the Khawarij. And you can see the difference is that they say the ruler has to be ma'soom, as the Shia say, or the Khawarij say that he has to be righteous. Both of them, you see, they have something similar. He has to be completely righteous. As for Ahlul Sunnah, righteous, sinful, pious, obedient, disobedient, it makes no difference. We have to obey him. The second mas'ala, second issue, is that Imam al-Tahawi said, ila qiyam as-sa'ah. Ila qiyam as-sa'ah. This means that this is a continuing principle all the way up until the qiyam as-sa'ah, up until the establishment of the hour. And this means that whenever we find Muslims, whenever we find a jama'ah of the Muslims, whenever we find an imam, whenever we find people making hajj and doing all of these things, then it is obligatory to remain upon this, to remain behind the jama'ah and to obey the imam. As long as there are people on the earth and they say Allah, Allah, then this principle will apply. So this continues up until the Qiyam as-Sa'ah. Notice how at the same time that the Prophet ﷺ, he also mentioned about the Khawarij, that the Khawarij will continue to appear. He said, كُلَّمَا خَرَجَ مِنْهُمْ كُلَّمَا خَرَجَ قَرْنٌ قُطِعْ. Every time a faction appears, they will be cut off. And he mentioned this 10 times, 20 times. And then he said, until Ad-Dajjal appears amongst their armies. A number of hadith reported by Abdullah bin Umar is authentic hadith. So just like we see this principle, until the Qiyam of the Sa'ah, we obey the rulers. Likewise, the Khawarij will continue to come. The Khawarij will continue to appear right to the end of time until Ad-Dajjal appears. Which means this fitna, this trial, this tribulation of the Khawarij is something that the Muslims will always be put to trial with. And this shows the importance of this principle. This principle is something that the Muslims, that the scholars of the Muslims, we find that if you take all of the books of Aqeedah from the 2nd century, the first scholar to write against the Khawarij was Umar bin Abdul Aziz. Umar bin Abdul Aziz, rahimahullah ta'ala, he wrote a refutation of the Khawarij. He used to write letters to the Khawarij, and refute their ideas. That from that time, this is roughly 100 Hijrah, all the way, we see that the scholars have never ceased to mention this principle as a fundamental principle of the religion. And that's why we understand the importance of this, because the Khawarij will always appear creating fitna, turmoil, tribulation, chaos all the time. So this is the second point, ila qiyam as-sa'a. The third point is la yubdiluhuma shay'un wa la yanquduhuma, that there is nothing which invalidates or which nullifies this principle. Right? Even if the ruler is sinful, it does not nullify this principle. You have to still make Hajj with him. You have to still be behind him in the affairs of the state and the affairs of jihad and so on and so forth. If they have fujur, if they have sin or deficiency, all of these, just because the ruler is sinful and harms himself, this does not affect the public affairs. Hajj is a public affair. Jihad is a public affair. Commanding good, prohibiting evil is a public affair. The Jum'ah and the Jama'ah is a public affair. These things are not invalidated just because the Imam is sinful or even tyrannical. So this principle is not violated no matter what the ruler is like. We see that the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they used to make Hajj with some of the rulers of Bani Umayyah, and some of the rulers of Bani Umayyah used to have issues with them. And an example is that the ruler Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf al-Thaqafi, you've heard his name. This is a tyrannical ruler in the time of the Sahaba, and he was put in charge of Hajj. He was made the Amir of Hajj. And in that time, we know that Al-Hajjaj, he shed a lot of blood. He killed a lot of people. He slaughtered a lot of people. He was tyrannical, oppressive, and he did not care about the lives of the Muslims. He didn't have any concern. And despite that, he was made an Amir on Hajj. He was made the Amir for Hajj. And in those times, what they used to do is that they would have an Amir for the Hajj, and they would have an Alim for the Hajj. Right? So the Hajj, there would be an Alim, and there would be an Amir. So in this case, Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf was appointed the Amir, and Abdullah bin Umar radiyallahu anhu was made the Alim. He was sent as the Alim. And this in fact was from the guidance of the Salaf. The Salaf would actually do it this way. So the Amir, he leads the people, keeps things in order, and the Alim, he gives fatwa, and he teaches the people about things that they need to do, or things that they've done wrong, or things that they need to make up, and so on and so forth. So what happened is that it was said to Hajjaj, do not do anything in the issues of Hajj except that you ask Ibn Umar. And so Ibn Umar, he made Hajj with Al-Hajjaj bin Yusuf, and he was, as we said, a tyrannical ruler. He slaughtered many Muslims. And on the day of Arafah, Al-Hajjaj came to Ibn Umar, and Ibn Umar said to him, now you should leave. We should leave. And you should come out and give the sermon. Come out and give the sermon. So Al-Hajjaj said, at this time? Shall I do it now at this time? O Abu Abdurrahman? And he said, yes, it is the sunnah of Abil Qasim. It is the sunnah of Muhammad ﷺ. So Al-Hajjaj came out, he listened to Ibn Umar, he came out and he gave khutbah to the people, and then he prayed, then after that he prayed Dhuhr and Asr, and behind him prayed a group of the Sahaba. There was Ibn Umar, and there was a number of other Sahaba as well. So you see that the Salaf, they implemented this principle, this great and mighty principle. And why is this? It is because they want to maintain unity, maintain order, maintain security, protect the lives of the Muslims, and to protect the bloodshed. This is from the guidance and the wisdom of the Salaf. In fact, it is what the Deen of Islam came with. The Deen of Islam came with this. And this is the end of the speech of the Shaykh. So from this we can see the great importance of this principle, and as we see from the scholars like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and likewise Ibn al-Qayyim, and they mention that every single trial, every single fitna that we see that has befallen, it is because people do not stick to this principle. This is what Ibn al-Qayyim says in his book I'lam al-Muwaqqi'een. He says that this opposing this principle is the foundation of every shar, every evil, up until the end of time. This is what Ibn al-Qayyim says in his book, that not observing this principle is a foundation of every evil. And we can see that in our time. We see it in the Arab lands, in Egypt, in Libya, in Tunisia, in Syria. When people revolt against the rulers, along come the Khawarij. This is why the Prophet ﷺ, when he mentioned in the hadith of the Khawarij, the hadith of Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, when the Dhul Khuwaysirah, when that man, he came, and the man said what he said, and then he turned off, and the Prophet said that from this man will come a people, they will recite the Quran, it will not go beyond their collarbones, their throats. He said about them, يَخْرُجُونَ, they will come out, ala heen furqa, they will come out when there is a splitting and separation between the people. And this is true that they occurred when there was a splitting and separation between Ali and Muawiyah. The Khawarij, they always appear when there is splitting and confusion and separation. That's why, in fact, some of these Khawarij, they even said that the reason why we came out in Syria, because there was confusion. There was confusion, and we came out in this confusion, and we took control. This is what happens. This is how things happen. So this is why this is from the great and mighty principles of Islam and the Sunnah and of Salafiyah. So this ends our discussion of this point. The next point is وَنُؤْمِنُ بِالْكِرَامِ الْكَاتِبِينَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ جَعَلَهُمْ عَلَيْنَا حَافِظِينَ. He said, we believe in the noble angels which write. The noble angels which write. For indeed Allah, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ جَعَلَهُمْ عَلَيْنَا حَافِظِينَ. Allah has made them to be protectors over us. Allah has made them protectors over us. وَنُؤْمِنُ بِالْكِرَامِ الْكَاتِبِينَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ جَعَلَهُمْ عَلَيْنَا حَافِظِينَ. So the statement of Shaykh al-Fawzaan, Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, he says, believing in the angels, alayhimus salam, is one of the pillars of Iman. He says this is from the usul, from the pillars of Iman which are mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, وَلَكِنَّ الْبِرَّ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَالْمَلَائِكَةِ وَالْكِتَابِ وَالنَّبِيِّينَ. So he mentioned here the angels, that bir, righteousness, is to believe in Allah, the one who believes in Allah, the last day, the angels, and the book and the prophets. Likewise, in Surah Al-Baqarah as well, he said, آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله. The messenger believes in what was revealed to him from his Lord, as do the believers. All believe in Allah, His angels, and the books and the messengers. So we believe in the angels. They are a creation from the creation of Allah. They are from the world of the unseen, from the alimul ghaib. And we do not see them. Allah created them from light. And Allah appointed them for certain affairs. They do certain commands and affairs which Allah has appointed them for. Every angel has an action that the angels is entrusted with. And at the same time, they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So every angel is given a task to do. And alongside that task, they also worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They never become lax or tired from worshipping Allah. يُسَبِّحُونَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارِ لَا يَفْتُرُونَ. That they glorify Allah in the night, in the night and the day. And they never become lax or weary or slack. And he said, عِبَادٌ مُكْرَمُونَ لَا يَسْبِقُونَهُ بِالْقَوْلِ وَهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِ يَعْمَلُونَ. They are ennobled servants. They do not precede him in speech, and they fulfill his command. Now the angels are of many different types. And from the different types which are mentioned in the Quran are the hafadha, al-hafadha. Al-hafadha, because here at-Tahaawi said, وَنُؤْمِنُ بِالْكِرَامِ الْكَاتِبِينَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ جَعْلَهُمْ عَلَيْنَا حَافِظِينَ. So the specific group of angels are the hafadha, meaning those who preserve and protect. And these are the ones whom Allah has appointed to the children of Adam. The children of Adam, every single person he has from the Bani Adam, they have 4 angels appointed to every single person from the son of Adam. So every single human being has 4 angels. These 4 angels, they preserve, they guard him day and night. Two of them, one on the right and one on the left. The one on the right, it writes down all of the good deeds. This angel writes down every single good deed that an individual does. Allah says, and likewise the one on the left, it writes down every single evil deed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in Surah Qaf, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. That he does not express a word, utter a word, except that by him is a scribe ready to write. And then he says, so these are 2 angels, right and left. And then there are 2 other angels, in front and behind. In front and behind. And these 2 angels, they protect an individual from harm coming to him for as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for him to be alive. In other words, every person, his death is at an appointed time. He will die at an appointed time. So the angel at the front and at the back, the angel protects him from things that come in his way, so that he dies at the appointed time. When the time of death comes, these angels will then withhold, because they know the time has come for this person to die. So the angels, they remove from him all of the dangers, the harms, and then when his ajal, when his time comes, they leave him. And then the person, obviously, there's no protection for him. And then the decree of Allah, the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala befalls him. And so his time then comes. So we believe in all of this. We believe in the hafadha. And the hafadha here, it means those who write his deeds and those who protect him from harm, so that his appointed time, when the time comes for him to die, he dies at that exact point in time. So they protect him. And so these are mentioned, in fact, in the Quran. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتٌ مِّن بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ يَحْفَظُونَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. In Surah Al-Ra'd, Surah 13, verse 11. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتٌ, that he has there are those like angels, a succession in front of him and behind him. In front and behind. And they protect him by the decree of Allah. So this is clear and apparent. 4 angels to every single individual. Right, left, front, behind. 2 of them preserve his deeds, and the others, the other 2, they protect him. This now leads us to the speech of Shaykh Zayd al-Madkhali, hafidhahullah ta'ala, rahimahullah ta'ala, and he says that the intent by al-kiram al-katibin, they are the angels, the 2 angels which are entrusted with the actions of Bani Adam. Allah has entrusted them. One of them writes the good deeds, the second writes the evil deeds, We have the Malik al-Yamin, he writes the good deeds, and the angel on the left, he writes the evil deeds. They never ever leave the servant. These angels are always with the servant. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, Kiraman katibin, ya'lamuna ma taf'alun. The angels, noble angels who write, they know that which you do. So the angels are aware of everything that you do. Meaning they write the actions of Ibn Adam, the son of Adam, whatever statements he makes, min aqwalin wa af'alin, dhahira wa batina, inward and outward statements and actions, all of that. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, Ma yalfidhu min qawlin illa ladayhi raqibun atid. The same ayah. He does not utter a word except that with him is a scribe ready to write. Meaning an angel present, ready, waiting, already waiting, ready to write. One angel writes the good deeds, the other one writes the evil deeds. And this is because Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala, He made these angels as hafidain. He made these angels as those who write the actions of Bani Adam. Then whatever they write, it is the sahifa. It is the scroll that will be opened for the servant on Yawmul Qiyamah. This will be in front of all of the people. So the scroll of the servant will be given to him. Allah says in Surah Al-Isra, وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كِتَابًا يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا اقْرَأْ كِتَابَكَ كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. Allah says in this ayah, every person, we have tied his fate to his neck. This word ta'ir, it means deeds, it means actions. So all of your actions that you perform, they will be tied. They've been tied to your neck, meaning they are tied to you. And then on Yawmul Qiyamah, we shall bring out a book. A book will be brought out and it will be opened out. It will be opened and spread. Then it will be said, read your book. Iqra' kitabak. Read your book. Sufficient are you yourself to hold yourself to account. Meaning, then you will obviously know, you will account yourself and you will know the reality and the truth. So here, at-ta'ir, the word ta'ir in this ayah means ma tara min amalin. Ma tara min amalin. Whatever action you put forward. Every action, this is known as ta'ir. Something that you sent forth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will reward the good and punish for the evil. Allah says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. That whoever did an atom's weight of good will see it. And whoever did an atom's weight of evil will see it. And likewise He said, مَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا يُجْزَ بِهِ. مَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا يُجْزَ بِهِ وَلَا يَجِدْ لَهُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ وَلِيًّا وَلَا نَصِيرًا. Whoever does any evil, he will be recompensed. And he will not find besides Allah any aider, any protector or aider. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also said, مَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِنَفْسِهِ. Whoever does good deed, it is for his own sake, for his own self. And for him will be the reward. وَمَنْ أَسَاءَ فَعَلَيْهَا. And whoever does evil, it is only upon himself. He harmed only himself. And every son of Adam will find whatever he did in his sahifa, in his scroll that the angels write. Allah says, يَوْمَ تَجِدُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا عَمِلَتْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ مُحْضَرًا وَمَا عَمِلَتْ مِنْ سُوءٍ تَوَدُّ لَوْ أَنَّ بَيْنَهَا وَبَيْنَهُ أَمَدًا بَعِيدًا. On the day that every soul will find whatever good it did present, and whatever evil it did, it will wish and love and hope that if only there was between itself and it, meaning its evil, the deeds that it did, a long far distance. So this person, he will wish that whatever he's seeing in front of him from his deeds, because the scroll will be opened, that whatever he is seeing, he will wish that he didn't see it. He will wish that I don't want to see this. But he will have to see it and he will have to read it. He will see and he will read his own scroll. And then the scroll will be given to the person, to the people after they've been spread. وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. When the scrolls are spread, when they are spread and they are given, meaning they're distributed. Every person will be given his scroll. This is what it means. وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. And then it will be given either to the right hand, or to the left hand, or from the behind. As Allah says in the Quran, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. As for the one who is given his book in his right hand, he will be given an easy reckoning, and he will turn to his family pleased, enjoy. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَدْعُو ثُبُورًا وَيَصْلَى سَعِيرًا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فِي أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. As for the one who is given his book behind his back, then he will call for destruction, he will invoke for destruction, he will roast in the fire. Indeed, he was one who was amongst his people joyous, happy, meaning in the life of this world. So, this is the person, when he used to abandon obedience, he would fall into disobedience. He would think in that day, إِنَّهُ ظَنَّ أَلَّنْ يَحُورَ. These are the people who think they will never be resurrected. They will never be returned. إِنَّهُ ظَنَّ أَلَّنْ يَحُورَ. Indeed, he used to think he will not be returned. He believed he won't turn back to Allah. He won't return to Allah. He believed that Allah will not reckon him for all of his actions. So this was really an evil thought. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. As for the one who is given his book in his right hand, he will say, come, read my book. إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَهْ. Indeed, I had certainty that I will come one day when I will see my reckoning. Meaning, I believed that I will be raised and called to account. And for that reason, this is why I did good deeds and I abandoned evil deeds. فَهُوَ فِي عِيشَةٍ رَاضِيَةٍ. He will live in pleasure. فِي جَنَّةٍ عَالِيَةٍ. In gardens which are lofty. قُطُوفُهَا دَانِيَةٍ. The fruits which hang off are low and can be picked like this. كُلُوا وَاشْرَبُوا حَنِيئًا بِمَا أَسْلَفْتُمْ فِي الْأَيَّامِ الْخَالِيَةِ. Eat and drink out of the, to enjoy from that which you did, meaning of good deeds in the days which have passed. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِهِ فَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُوتَ كِتَابِيَهْ وَلَمْ أَدْرِ مَا حِسَابِيَهْ يَا لَيْتَهَا كَانَتِ الْقَاضِيَةِ. As for the one who is given his book in his left hand, he will say, woe be to me, if only I had not been given my book, and if only I did not meet this reckoning, and woe be to me if Ya laytaha kanat al-qadiyah, meaning that if only I wasn't raised, and if only I died the first time and was finished and done with, if only I wasn't resurrected. This is what he will say. And he will wish that he wasn't resurrected, so he wouldn't see the punishment. Allah says, Ma aghna anni mali. Allah says about this individual, that this individual will say, Ma aghna anni maliyah, halaka anni sultaniyah. That all of my wealth did not benefit me in anything. And whatever authority I had, it has gone, perished from me. I have no power authority now. So meaning his wealth has gone, his honor has gone, his mal, his jah, his status, his walad, his children have gone, his relatives, any qareeb is gone. Nothing will avail him or save this person on that day, and nothing will save him when he meets Allah except righteous actions, except the amal salih, except the righteous actions. So this is the end of the speech of Shaykh Zayd al-Madkhali. And so from our belief is that we believe in the hafadha, the angels, the 4 angels which are in front and behind, and to the right and to the left. And all of this makes a person to be aware of the presence of these angels and the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed these angels to preserve him in two ways. Number one, to preserve his deeds, so that the scroll that is written will be opened out on Yawm al-Qiyamah as an evidence to be put in front of him. And likewise the angels that protect him from harms up until the appointed time of his death has come. So a person is aware, as Shaykh Saalih al-Fawzaan, he says, وَإِذَا آمَنَّا بِذَلِكَ فَإِنَّنَا نَسْتَحْيِي مِنَ الْمَلَائِكَةِ الْكِرَامِ. When we believe in this, then we become ashamed in front of these noble angels. So we'll conclude our discussion here today, inshallah ta'ala. We'll continue with discussing this point in the next lesson. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.